Come closer. I want to talk to you. I'm going to tell you an astounding story.
The Lost Ship of the Desert is a beloved legend of old California. I first heard about it when I was a boy, and I wasn't the only one who had dreams of finding it. Many desert rats have claimed to have spotted the lost ship. None have presented proof. It is said that an old sailing ship laden with treasure lies buried quite incongruously in the desert sands of California, perhaps somewhere in the vicinity of the Salton Sea. Some say that the ship is Phoenician. Many say it was Viking. One even hears the suggestion of a riverboat. But most people believe that it was a Spanish vessel, commanded by Captain Juan de Iturbe. The ship was not a galleon, as many sources say, but a smaller vessel called a caravel, capable of navigating shallow waters. According to internet sources, the others were mastered by Captains Alvarez de Cordone and Pedro de Rosales. They were after pearls. In 1615, pearls were at the heart of the Spanish Empire. According to the story, at one point, Captain Cordona made a trading deal with a native tribe. When the chief realized that he had been cheated, his warriors attacked Cordona's ship while it was at harbor, and the captain ended up with an arrow in the chest. He survived, but he had to return to his home port in Acapulco. It is also said that Captain de Rosales made a spectacular find, a fortune in pearls, but the ship struck a reef, so crew and cargo had to be transferred to the final caravel, commanded by Juan de Iturbe. Iturbe kept going north, sailing to the end of the Gulf, and beyond. He went up the Colorado River. At that time, it is said, the river communicated with a vast inland sea, which covered much of what is now the lower California desert. This inland sea may have been a prehistoric body of water called Lake Coia, which has not been seen for centuries. It is best visualized as a supersized version of what is now the Salton Sea. Now, in 1615, many explorers theorized that California was an island. Iturbe sailed west. He believed that he might find passage to the Pacific Ocean, but no such passage existed. Eventually he turned around. With frightening rapidity, the sea evaporated beneath his vessel. Soon his ship went aground. The men had no choice but to abandon everything and hike to the nearest settlement. Months later, they reached the Jesuit mission at Guyamas. Most of the pearls were left behind. They have yet to be rediscovered. They now sit in the desert, yours for the taking. At least, that's the story. You can find this story on many web pages. Strangely enough, none of those web pages cite documents from the early 1600s. So, was there a great inland sea? Maybe, maybe not. There is a geological controversy as to whether Lake Coia was truly that sizable in 1615. We also have no shortage of people who insist that they, or someone they know, once saw the ship with their own eyes. This person says that it's in the Superstition Mountains. This person says that it's underwater in the Salton Sea. This person says that her father spotted two ships while flying over Palm Desert. This person says that it is somewhere in the Imperial Valley. And this one says that the mast was visible from the freeway en route to Riverside. In the April 16, 2014 issue of the San Diego Reader, Robert Marcos argues that the ship may be somewhere within Pinto Canyon, close to the border with Mexico. Marcos found petroglyphs in Pinto Canyon which depict a sailing ship. The Los Angeles Star of November 12, 1870, described the mounting of an expedition to find the fabulous lost ship. The expedition was led by a remarkable character named Charlie Klusker. This hardy old prospector insisted that he had once spotted the ship about 30 miles southwest of Dos Palmas. Klusker, we are told, had viewed the ship from a distance, through a glass, but he could go no further, having exhausted his provisions. Josh Talbot, an editor for the San Bernardino Guardian, accompanied Klusker on his ill-fated third expedition, which Talbot described in the December 3rd issue. Klusker strangely refused to retrace his previous route. The overworked pack animals soon became exhausted. Discouraged, Talbot returned home alone. Charlie kept at it for another month. It has been suggested that Klusker made up his story, and for a very comprehensible motive. Klusker was a prospector, always convinced that his lucky break was just around the corner. One cannot find gold without a grub stake, and so he created the Lost Ship Crusade as a cover. Charlie Klusker, born in Kentucky, lived one hell of a life. He told journalists that he had befriended a young Abraham Lincoln, although Klusker later enlisted in the Confederate Army. He died in San Diego at the impressive age of 105, or so he claimed. Being a cynic, I am inclined to doubt Klusker's claim that he knew Abraham Lincoln. I certainly doubt that he sighted the lost ship of the desert. He may even have lied about his age. In fact, I became so cynical about this yarn that for a while I doubted the very existence of Juan de Iturbe. Then I ran across this book. It states that in 1606, Juan de Iturbe had been a royal accountant, traveling with the Spanish-Portuguese explorer Pedro Fernandez de Queiroz. So, our man did exist. For what follows, my main source of information, though not my only source, is Hubert Bancroft's hard-to-find 1884 volume, History of the North Mexican States and Texas. He says that de Iturbe did indeed play a key role in that pearl fishing expedition in the Gulf of California. As it turns out, the internet version of the story got the name